everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of our I've Decided podcast. I'm Kim Martin, founder of I've Decided and host of your show today. I am so excited to have this awesome guest with me today, Mr. Bobby Taylor. Hi, Bobby.
Hi, how are you?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
I am well.
Good. So Bobby is the owner of Mid-Illinois Companies, and we actually met at a construction conference almost a year ago.
About a year ago, yes.
And I have to say, I almost didn't say yes to that because I was a little intimidated by that whole construction
Yeah, it could be a little
factor.
intimidating. Absolutely.
But I'm so glad that I did because you happened to sit in my session, and then a couple of your employees sat in the afternoon session, and so we just kind of got to know each other that way.
It was a good day.
It was a great day. So really glad, and I got to hear and learn about some of your success story through Mid-Illinois Companies, and so we want to share that today. Our weekly winning word, Bobby, is humanity. Yes. And so that's the topic of discussion today. What is the ultimate duty of humanity? So if we look at the definition, which I like to do first, humanity is the quality or state of being human. So it represents every person on earth. That's humanity, but it's also those qualities that make us human.
Right, absolutely.
And so when you think of the word humanity, when I sent you this article as our topic of discussion, did you have anything that kind of popped in your mind?
Yes, I do. I think it's our moral and ethical obligation for humanity. It's morally something that we should be doing. And when you look at it ethically, it's another part of what we should be doing. And I for myself, I feel like that is something that we need to do every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Look at ourselves and look at whatever is around us, because we are in dire need of humanity. Absolutely.
Yes, you are exactly right. We are. And that's what, when I was thinking and doing the research, everything that kept popping up in my research was people are losing faith in humanity, right?
Yes.
You've heard it.
Yes.
I think I've said it. I have actually said it in the last couple of years. I'm losing faith in humanity. This is going bad quickly, and I'm a pretty positive person.
Yes, you are.
But I think we've all kind of been there. We've all kind of felt that. But we, like you said, we cannot, the idea behind this is that we cannot lose faith in humanity.
Exactly.
We have to, if we do, then we die out.
Right. And where does it start? I think it's a choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every day we have a choice to make a decision, to change that, to turn it around, whether it's an individual choice or we work with somebody else to make that choice. It's something that we have to do.
Yeah.
It has to start somewhere, and it really needs to start with us.
Mm-hmm. It starts with yourself, because just think and we're going to talk a little bit about how we can redeem our faith in humanity in a little bit. But if each of us just did those four things, it would be amazing. So did you know that humanity derives from the Latin word humanitas?
I did not.
I didn't either until I did some research this weekend, but it does, humanitas, and it means human nature. So humanity originally came from that word humanitas, which is human nature. So when I started thinking about it, I'm like, okay, so we have our humanity, who we are as humans and what makes us human, but then there's the human nature side of it.
Right.
And I think if you look at it from those two perspectives, we can start to kind of see what happens.
Right.
As human beings, we are the only living creatures who have the ability to love more, show more compassion, choose. We have a choice to do those things.
Right. When we talk about human nature, I mean, you're right. Humans, and does it go back to when we were younger and being taught those things and how we were being taught those things? I think there's a whole different area that pulls us into that. What was the culture that we grew up in? Does that mold us into a human nature? we're all different. We're all brought up
Mm-hmm.
differently,
Yeah.
but what planted that seed, which is always interesting because I think as employers we always look at that and see just what and where and why and how. Right, that's where it all started. And again, it goes back to, can you make that difference? Can you make that choice? Can you change whatever an individual is to be more human? I don't know. We want that, right? We
I
want that.
believe we
Yes,
can.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
I
That's,
think,
it
I
is
mean, I'm
exactly
in the
what we want.
change business. So I do believe that we can, but it is hard. It's
Yes,
nature
yes,
versus nurture.
yes, exactly.
And but people can change. I've changed.
Yep.
I've witnessed
Yes.
change. People really can change, but it takes that
Courage.
work. It
Takes
takes,
courage, right?
yeah.
To make changes, it takes courage, and it's a decision that you have to make,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so then, you know, talking about what causes us to lose our faith in humanity. And I think, it's some of those qualities, that some of that human nature that's not so good. It's like our desire to control, our need for
Yes.
greed,
Yes.
right? Our selfish nature.
Yes.
Every human, we see it in toddlers.
Yeah.
If you've ever had a toddler, you know that every human being is
Yeah.
born selfish, right? Mine, 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 mine. So we see it,
Yes. Yeah.
in the
Exactly.
little guys out there, so
Yeah.
in the little ones. So
Yeah.
it just, and we don't lose that there. We just learn to choose to be better.
Exactly. And teach it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That mind, we're teaching them no, to share, and it's ours. So does it go back to how we raise our kids and teaching them all about humanity? And does it really start with us? I feel like it does. And again, it's a choice, and what we can do to change those human nature responses. I guess it's tough. It's tough, but I
It
think
is
it's what we
tough.
have to do.
Yeah, we do. And, but those are the things that causes us to lose our faith. We experience this and we witness it. And then what happens then when we lose our faith in humanity, bad things happen and we
Yes.
all start to feel it. And that's where we are right now, I
Yes.
think.
Yes.
And we can talk about this a little bit just from a corporate perspective. We're seeing it in the Great Resignation, right? People are leaving their jobs
Yes.
by
Yes.
they're just by the loads. And our world, people are divided, and the mental health issues is
Through the roof.
through the
Yes.
roof right
Yes.
now. And we're seeing that, and you're probably seeing
Yeah.
that with, in your corporate world. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a huge issue, especially in construction,
Mhm.
right? So we do go to a lot of different conferences, and they bring speakers in just for that, for mental awareness, and what we need to do to change that around. And you have to talk about it. You have to bring it to a head. You have to identify and ask your people and really mean it. Are you okay?
Mhm.
It's a whole new meaning of asking that word.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Or how can I
Or
help?
how can I help? Yeah,
Absolutely.
you have to ask. You have to reach out to those individuals, whether you think they need it or not. Reach out to them and
Mhm.
ask them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people are not okay right now. There's just
exactly.
been so much going on. And again, we're seeing it.
Yes.
It's happening even to the most positive people, our leadership, the
Yes.
people that are typically the ones leading the way are feeling
Yeah.
this
Absolutely.
tug.
Yes.
And it's like we're at a crossroads almost.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, something's got to give.
Something's got to give, right?
Something's got to give. And so, and so what? How do we restore that faith, right? And so we talked about these principles, and I know uh, you've experienced this in your own self, in your own organization, and within your success, rising up in your company, starting, you know, as a tradesman, I think, and
Uh,
then
yep.
working your
Yep.
way up to
Yep.
actually
Absolutely.
owning the company.
Yep. Yep. So I started out as a laborer,
A laborer, I guess.
in the
Yes.
late '80s, and I was tending masons for a number of months, and then I was never going to quit.
West
But
End and Masons.
that's you're mixing mortar and taking mortar to to the bricklayers.
Oh,
right?
so you're not even laying the brick.
No, I'm not
You're
even
just
laying the
mixing
brick.
the
Yeah, I'm
mortar.
mixing the mortar, building scaffold.
That's even a better
Yeah.
story than I thought. That's great. Okay.
So I did that for a number of months. Like I said, I wasn't going to quit, but when they laid me off, I was okay with that. So they did call me back, and I opted not to. And then a position came up with Mid-Illinois Companies as a laborer. So I labored for them, and they were getting slow. So I asked them what was available. Is there anything else I can do? Anything else I can get into? They said yes. If you would like, we could get you into the carpenter's apprenticeship. I said, okay, I'm in. I loved working for Mid-Illinois Companies. They took care of me. I seen how they took care of their employees, and I wanted to be a part of that. So I got in the apprenticeship, worked through the apprenticeship, worked my way up from journeyman to a foreman, and then to a superintendent. In the 12th year, they asked me to partner with them. So I went into that partnership and just worked my way all the way through.
That
And,
is just unbelievable.
and here I am. Yes, it is unbelievable. And to say that the old cliche, if I can do it, anybody can do it, is true.
It's so true. I say it all the time
Yes,
too. I
yes,
say it
yes.
all the
Yes.
time. This is why I know people can change, Bobby, because I've changed. You've changed.
Yes.
We know that it can happen. And that's amazing.
Yeah, you got to want to,
Mhm.
right? There's things that that can be bestowed on you. Your work ethic, man. If you just work, there's people that can identify those skills within you, and if you have leadership skills, and if they can mold you into being something that, whether you believe it or not,
Right.
they believe in you, and you need to listen to them because
they elicit that out of
exactly,
you. Yeah.
and yeah.
Well, these 4 principles to live by that helps restore your faith in humanity. They're in no particular order, and I don't know that one is greater than the other, but one of them is give back. And I think that that's what happened with when you said Dennis, the previous owner, is and what I talk about when I say give back is take responsibilities for helping others who need it.
Yes.
And there are many ways you can contribute in your time, mentoring, and your resources. Sometimes it's your resources. And I think you had that perfect experience of someone who gave back, who contributed, who was really, acting in humanity.
Yeah, and they identified something within myself and poured everything they had into that.
Mm-hmm.
And putting good in, they got good out, I think. And for me, that's now I need to do that. I need to play that role.
Right.
Identifying those people to take my place, or within our own organization, using those resources as our employees and our employees that are good leaders, right?
Right.
We do a lot of charity work, so we'll grab those leaders and say, hey, let's all work together on this charity work. And what I found out is those people, those individuals, will take it upon themselves to do their own charity. So it's kind of paying it forward. So it's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So giving back,
Giving
when we give back, and again, I think sometimes we expect the other person to change before we want to act with these principles. But this is about us, right? This is about you. This is about me. This is about if we all just do this and we don't worry about what someone else is doing, we focus on us. This is when change starts to happen.
Exactly.
And so obviously personal development, that's my bag, right? I love it. That's my life is all about personal development. But this quote, in fact, I told my husband this, and my husband and I really do live by this. We try to live by this, and I want to have it put on a plaque in our bedroom because it is so good. The best thing I can do for you is to take care of me. And the best thing you can do for me is to take care of you.
Yeah, I believe that. Yes.
And that's if we all lived by that, right? But we tend to, a lot of times, we will take care of others before we take care of ourselves.
Yep.
or we're not making personal development a priority.
Right.
And
Right.
it's really got to be the number one thing that we do. Above all things, if you're going to be successful, you've got to invest in yourself.
Got to. Every time we fly, what's the first thing they show us? That oxygen mask drops. You're taking care of yourself, and then somebody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. You have to invest in yourself. You have to take care of yourself. And for us, it starts with taking care of you before you take care of anybody else. So
Mm-hmm.
we promote that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not right with yourself, you're not going to be right with anybody else.
Absolutely. And it is one of the biggest so I say this all the time, is when your actions don't align with what you know you should do, it makes you sad.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
really
Yeah,
does.
I agree.
It makes you sad. And so I'm not talking about clinical depression, but the everyday blues that we get
Yes,
as human
yes,
beings, the beating ourselves up emotionally, that negative self-talk,
yes.
it comes because we know there are things that we should do and then we're not
We're
doing
not
them.
doing it.
We talk
Yes.
about it when it's hitting that snooze button, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's that baggage that we carry every day,
Mhm.
every day, every day. And we've got a checklist that we need to just take care of it, take care of it, take care of it, lighten the load. And it's just something you have to do. You have to make yourself do it. I mean, it's
Mhm.
easy to procrastinate every single day, hit that snooze button. But to lighten that load, to get rid of that luggage is a positive that you have to do. You
And
have to
once you
do it.
do it enough, and I think, that's where the change starts to happen. If you can get people to do it enough and get them to start that self awareness and get them to recognize, how'd you feel today when you didn't
Yeah,
hit that snooze button?
yeah,
How'd your day go?
yeah.
And you start to get them to recognize the positive effects. Then the next time they can almost talk themselves out of it, right? So
Yes,
it's that
absolutely.
mental talking yourself out of it. I get up and run really early in the morning. I have a little running group, and you know, most days I don't want to do it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
few and far between. Now, this morning it was
Yeah.
terrible. I'm the baby of three girls. So
Yeah.
one of the girls that I run with, she's the oldest of three girls. So we got that dynamic
Yeah.
going on. And she's like, stop being a baby. And they always tease me. Kim Martin motivates, because I'm out there whining I'm like, it's dark. I'm tired. And you don't want to do it, but once you're done, you're so glad you did.
Yes,
It's so
yes,
hard to make
yes.
yourself do the right
It's a
thing.
mindset, right? You got to
Hmm.
train your mind and your body and just do it. You
Yeah.
have to do it.
So when you put yourself first and you take care of yourself, a lot of times people think that that's selfish, but ultimately it is the least selfish thing you can do. That's
Yes.
what that quote says. The best thing I can do is take care of for you is to take care of me, and the best thing that you can do for me is to take care of you.
Yeah.
That quote is saying I'm being selfless by taking care of me, because if I take care of me, I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to be more confident. I'm going to feel, that assured,
Right.
like I can do the things
Right.
that need to be done.
Right. You take care of yourself and somebody else doesn't have to take care of you,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That all begins with you.
Yeah. Or if they
Absolutely.
do need to, in the event that unfortunate circumstances
Yeah.
happen,
Yeah.
then you don't feel bad about that either. You're
Exactly.
like,
You've done everything
you
you've done.
want to take care of that person,
Exactly.
because now you're
Exactly.
like, they did
Yeah.
everything they could and
Everything.
now they're
Yeah.
struggling
Yeah.
here or something.
Yeah.
And it
Exactly.
just makes people want to help you more.
Exactly. I agree.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, personal development, that's one way we can restore faith in humanity. Of course, follow the golden rule. So simple, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Just treat people the way you want to be
Yeah,
treated.
yeah,
Um, again, as humans, that um human side of us, that human side, that humanity, we can choose to love more. We can choose to be more compassionate.
yes.
I I don't know what I mean. The golden rule: just be kind. But
Yeah,
for some reason, this one really, I do struggle with this,
sure.
because it's easy to be kind to kind people.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
easy to, show love to the lovable.
right.
It's hard when someone is being rude to you, or, but
It's easy to make those easy choices and decisions, right? And well, like you just said, it's hard sometimes to be kind to those difficult people, but you have to, it forces you to stop and think, right?
Mhm.
it's not easy. You got to stop and think about, am I going to be the same way this person is to me, or am I going to be a different person? Am I going to be a kinder person? Am I going to be a more loving person? Am I going to make a choice to be better than them?
Hmm.
And that's where you have to stop
Yeah.
and think about it. It's not natural,
It's
right?
not natural,
Yeah,
because the natural thing is not to turn the other cheek.
exactly.
The natural thing is, if you punch me, I'm going to punch you back. And again, if we don't believe that, just look at toddlers. I
Exactly.
mean, toddlers
Exactly.
show us the human
Yes,
nature
absolutely.
side of human beings,
Yes.
right? The
Yes.
selfishness side. I mean, they're also cute. Don't think I don't. I have children. They're a little cute. They're little
Yeah.
cute, selfish people,
Yeah.
but they're selfish. If you
Yeah.
bite me, I'm going to bite you back,
That's
right?
exactly what happens.
I'm going to hit you if
Yeah.
you take my
Yeah.
toy.
Perfect example of human nature, right?
It is a perfect example, and we learn to be better than that, but our heart condition is still there.
Yes.
That heart condition
Yes.
is still there, and that's where I think it gets difficult. It's like, if someone is if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you,
Yeah.
but if you're not nice to me,
Yeah.
we got a battle on our hands. So
Yeah, it does. It still goes back to choices, right? What kind of choices we want to make, and
mhm,
how we want to treat those people. It can be tough sometimes. It's like I said, it's easy to treat nice people nice. It's tough to treat bad people good.
mhm.
It's a decision. It's a choice we have to make.
I think I can't remember, famous Zig Ziglar quote or something like that, but hurt people hurt people. And
Yes.
that quote
Yes.
changed my life too, because then you start to recognize that we don't know what's going on in someone's mind.
No.
We don't know what's happening in their hearts at home,
Right.
what they've experienced, what they've been through. I mean, I can think of my own life. You can think of your
Yeah.
own life. We know what
Yes.
we've experienced, and
Yes.
it's not all been good. No,
No.
if we've lived long enough, something bad has happened,
Exactly.
right?
Right.
A lot of times against our own will, or sometimes our own
Yeah.
choices.
Exactly.
But we've suffered some consequences of our choices, or we've experienced the consequences of other people's choices.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
And so if we just think about our own lives, and then imagine what some people may have to go through. I
Right.
think when someone is not being kind, we have to really just kind of feel bad for them and think, what has happened to them that's made them so unkind,
Yeah. You got to
that's
stop
made
and
them
think.
lose faith
Yeah.
in humanity, because
Exactly.
ultimately that's what it is. They're saying, I don't have any faith in you.
Exactly. And it can be infectious, right?
Yeah.
When people are being bad, they're talking bad, they can talk bad about somebody else, or it just continues to grow. And on the opposite, the good can be infectious when they're
Mm-hmm.
talking about people and sharing good stories and sharing good things with the positive.
Mm-hmm.
In construction, it can be horrible.
Yeah.
It can
I
be,
know,
it
because
can,
I don't want to label the construction guys. I'm so sorry, because I'm sure
we can
some
be,
of them will listen to this
yes,
podcast,
they will, but they
and they're
know,
going to
but
be
they
like,
know.
why is she picking on construction guys? My whole family, my dad, they all were in
Yeah,
construction, and
yeah.
I just know what I saw, and
Yeah,
they tend to cuss a lot, drink some
talk
beer,
a little,
talk a
yeah,
little smack to
yeah,
each other,
exactly,
that
yeah.
kind of
So
stuff.
we've experienced,
Yeah.
we talk about it, we share these stories in some of our meetings, so we know what infection it can cause. So we try to nurture that and just try and kick it out. You know what? If there's good people with bad people, we identify that. If there's bad people, sometimes you just got to make some good decisions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That clean
Yeah.
it up.
Well, it's funny you brought that up, because the last one is to look for the good.
Yes.
And I mean, everywhere you look, you can find the bad. I can hardly turn on TV unless I am watching something specific. Like, I
Yes.
don't watch the news. And, that people say, well, if you don't watch the news, you don't know what's going on. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, you figure it out one way or another. Yeah,
somehow I don't
yeah,
watch the news, and somehow I know what's going on.
yeah,
Isn't that weird?
yeah. It's like everybody wants you to hear mostly the negative stuff, not really a lot of the positive, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's going to get out there, it's going to be talked about, and whether you want to hear it or not, it's there. Somebody's going to talk to you
Mm-hmm.
about it,
Yep.
right? And they're not always going to be talking about the positive. You want to hear all the positive, but you're mostly going to hear the negative. So we got to share those positive stories.
Well, what do they say? The
Talk
squeaky
about
wheel gets the oil.
exactly.
So yeah, so we have to actively seek out the positive. We have to actively look. You really
Yes,
do have to
yes,
actively look for the good. And I just think, I love social media. I heard this the other day, and I've always thought I really like social media, but you hear people go, I don't want anything to do with social media. It's evil. It's the
Yeah.
devil.
Yeah.
It's the devil. And I think I don't think it is. I actually like it because it allows me. I'm friends with people that I was friends with when I was a little
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
It's very cool. Keeps you connected,
It
right?
keeps you connected. I mean, through my work and
Yeah.
coaching, I'm able to put out my favorite quotes and
Yes, exactly.
stuff like that. But I heard this. I think I was listening to a podcast. It was a pastor on a podcast, and he said social media isn't good or bad. It's neutral. It's not good. It's not bad. It's the person behind the social media. It's not social media. Social media is just a neutral tool.
Sure.
But are
Sure.
you using it for the good or are you using it for the bad?
Right.
And
Right.
and so what I talk about, so a lot of times people that Pollyanna, positive Pollyanna attitude, right? Like cloud head in the clouds.
Yeah.
And I always say, I'm positive, but not in that way.
Right.
I think a positive, true, genuine positive person focuses on the things they can change, not on the things that they can't change.
Right.
And so when we just throw something negative out there, or we get involved in a negative conversation about geared around our opinions or what we think, now we're just you're just it's negative because you're not changing anything. You're just whining, kind of like I was on my run this morning. You're just whining. Misery loves company.
Exactly. But you're right. Social media can be a lot of different things, right? It can be informative. It can be a connection, or it can be a tool, right? And like you said, you can throw out that negative out there, and you're going to get negative back. And again, it's going to be infectious, right?
Right.
It's just going to spread. It's going to grow. And again, you have a choice to put positive in there and share that positive and touch on somebody else's positive and let it grow and be infectious. So yeah, you can use social media in a lot of different ways, but we tend to, unlike you, I kind of identify the good that I want to listen to, not really the negative.
Right. Yeah, me too. I focus on the good. I look for the good. I'm weeding out the bad as much as I possibly can. And we want to do that. We have to do that because otherwise you lose faith in humanity.
Exactly.
And and we can't do that. If we lose our love and we lose our compassion for humanity, then how can humanity really exist?
Exactly.
Without love and compassion, it would really go downhill quickly.
It would struggle terribly.
It would be a bad place.
And those are ingredients for humanity.
But I can tell you guys what, and I mean this so genuinely, and it's from the moment I met you at the conference last year, and then when you encouraged some of your guys to come to my class, the session that I was teaching in the afternoon. You would be a great guy to work for. So mid-Illinois companies, like I'm sure you guys are always looking for great people.
We're always looking for great people. Absolutely. In the trades that we hire in, we are always looking for good people. And to grow our business, that's what we always want to do, is continue to grow and look for those good people that want to grow with us. That's what we're looking for.
And even always. You're saying you're looking for your next replacement.
My next replacement.
Dennis found you as your next replacement.
So
and it sounds like he's
look for my succession.
Yeah,
right?
and he's
my retirement.
And he's inheriting you now as a son-in-law. How cool is that?
It's all cool, right?
That is so cool. So yeah, you're even looking for that. So the opportunities for the right people,
opportunity exactly
exist, and so it's just great. It's great to know that we have a company like you being run from the form of humanity, right? Like you're giving back. And how many employees do you guys have?
In the office, we have an office in Peoria and an office in Springfield. We have 2 to 3 people in the Springfield office, and our Peoria office has 8. So we hire right now. We're right around 100 employees because of the other trades that we hire out of, all union. We cover a pretty good area and hire some good people.
So you guys are doing big jobs?
Big jobs, yep. We can do a job that's $100 to a job that's $4 million.
Okay,
So
so
pretty
and
vast
anywhere in
range.
between.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
not just big jobs, but all
Yeah.
those jobs,
Yeah.
but
All those
including
jobs
the
in
big
between.
jobs. Cool.
Yep.
Well, I really appreciate
I
you taking
appreciate
the
it.
time
Yes.
to be on the podcast with me today and discussing our weekly witty
Yes,
word,
absolutely.
humanity. It is good. Humanity, it is good, but
It is.
we have to continue to do what we're supposed to do: work harder, do more, be more, love more,
Yes.
choose to be more compassionate,
Yes.
and choose to be more productive and continue to grow.
Yeah, exactly. Humanity exists, right? It exists in all of us, and
Yes,
it's our choice to pull it out of ourselves and engage. So,
absolutely. So let us not lose hope in humanity, guys. All right. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thanks again, Bobby.
absolutely, my
And
pleasure.
we'll be back next week.